Hello everyone. Today we are together with another lesson and we discuss the feature forms again and we revise all the tense structure we have learned previously. By starting at first, I want to remind you about the general sentence structure, because as you know that you have to make a sentence properly if you want to be understandable while speaking or writing. It's very important to communicate in a good manner. The most important point of a language is to be understandable. If you're understood by your contact, it's okay. Language will be okay for you. And then, today we start with be going to feature. I know we talked about the feature forms in the previous lesson, but I want to revise all of them today. The be going to feature tense and also the present continuous. The present continuous is also very important in this term because it has a feature meaning also. And also simple present has a feature meaning. In our following lessons, we will discuss the differences among those four feature forms. It's very important to use them correctly in your language because sometimes it will be something about the probability of the action. If you want to define exactly the probability of the action in terms of happening in the future, every time you have to be careful about the use of those four feature meanings. And then today we start with be going to feature. Sometimes you can get confused about the use of them because every time you're saying what is the difference between be going to and will. We discussed it before, and today we'll again check it. Sorry. There is no difference between those two feature meanings. At first, you have to accept that one. There is no difference. Please don't forget it. But if you want to use just the feature meaning of them, you can use whichever structure you want. You can use either will or be going to. It doesn't matter, just because you want to say something that's gonna happen in the future. I said gonna. While speaking, you can use gonna, but while writing, don't use gonna because it's informal. In the following lessons, also we talk about a formal and informal language. And also we can check how to write a letter or an email because in A2 level, the most important writing part or the accepted writing from the A2 students is an email or a letter. So I hope you understand me clearly and everything I told you makes sense. That's why I'm at ease now and I'm speaking English. Arkadaşlar biliyorum ki hani artık anlama kapasiteniz yükseliyor yavaş yavaş ama sizin artık alışma evresindesiniz. Bunu da biliyorum. Şimdi arada böyle Türkçe'de serpiştireceğiz. Hep söylediğimiz gibi özellikle sizin anlayabilmeniz için dile maruz kalmanız lazım. Hani nerede dil çalışıyorsanız, hangi dili öğrenmek istiyorsanız sizin özellikle ilk amacınız dile maruz kalmak olsun. Dile maruz kalmanız çok önemli çünkü bebekken de böyle öğrendiniz yani. Hepimiz böyle öğrendik, öğrendiniz demeyelim de. Hepimiz bu şekilde öğrendik. O yüzden siz baktığınızda tamam gramer süper. Will'den sonra fiil koydum. İşte hocam ne güzel ya özneden sonra hakikaten fiil koyunca cümle anlaşılır oluyor. Biz bunu denedik, tatbik ettik, uyguladık. Gerçekten de anlıyor herkes. Ve yanlışlarımız azaldı. Bu konuda bir problemimiz yok zaten ama bunu uygulama aşamasında yapabilmek çok önemli. Mesela ne bileyim nasıl bir örnek verebiliriz? Hani ben çok güzel karate yapabilirim diyelim mesela. Hani teorik olarak bir sürü hareket biliyorum. Şöyle böyle işte film falan izliyoruz. Karate filmleri. Ama şimdi bunu uygulamaya geldiğinde olay o kadar %100 verimli olmuyor. Veya yüzme işte ne bileyim. Çok güzel yüzmeyi biliyor olabiliriz teorik olarak. İşte çapraz adım, çapraz kol falan filan gibi veya suyun üstünde durmak istiyorsanız kendinizi serbest bırakacaksınız gibi. Ama bunu ne kadar söylerseniz söyleyin hani bir kişi yüzerken hani mümkün değil yani bunları orada tatbik etmeden, alışık olmadan tamamen teorik bilgiyle ilk defa atladım süper ben bunların hepsini uyguladım. Uzun seneler veya uzun aylar diyelim hani yüzmek için bir çaba gerektiriyor yani o suya alışmak lazım, suyu anlamak lazım. Veya dediğim gibi hani bir dövüş sporuyla uğraşıyorsunuz. Hani o hareketleri tek tek öğreniyorsunuz ama hani onu kombinasyon şeklinde yapabilmek için bir antrenman süreci lazım. Veya futbol, basketbol, popüler sporlar birçoğumuzun ilgisi var bu tarz sporlara. Hani çok iyi topa vuruyor olabilirsiniz, çok iyi pas veriyor olabilirsiniz, çok iyi basket atıyor olabilirsiniz. Ama o sahadaki oyuncuların hani yetenekten ayırt eden başka bir şey var. Ne? Çalışmak. Hani biz bu çalışma evresini, biz bu uygulama evresini ne kadar çok hayatımıza geçirirsek bizim için o kadar dil başarıya ulaşacak bir uygulama. O yüzden sizin de bunu uygulama bazında mümkün olduğunca çok duymanız lazım. Hani biz de derslerde o yüzden dikkat edeceğiz. Özellikle hani İngilizce olarak daha çok her şeyi anlatmaya, yapmaya. Ama tabii ki hani püf noktaları anlatırken özellikle bu A2 seviyesinde yani B1'e geçtiğimizde, B1'e başladığımızda daha işte bu oranı %80'e 90'a çıkartabiliriz. Ama gramer hani bu püf noktaları durumunda orada tabii ki yardımcı olacağız. Çünkü grameri anlamayınca hani bizim genel olarak artık Türk kafası diyeyim. Hani ben de zamanında öğrenciyken böyleydim. Hani illa şeyi anlayacağım. Yani o grameri mükemmel bir şekilde anlayacağım. Ama işte hani language, dil ya. Hani dil. Rahat bırakın kendinizi. I will be going to dediniz diyelim. Yani çok bir şey. Hayır değil yani. Yani bir şekilde anlatmak önemli. So, I hope you remember that if you conjugate be as am is are, you give the meaning of feature to the structure of be going to. And will is itself the auxiliary verb in the structure. But if you use them, you have to be careful about that. After be going to, I am going to fly to Madrid. I will fly to Madrid. Every time after be going to. Every time after be going to and will. You have to write your verb, you have to say your verb in base form. It's very important because it is the conjugational feature structure. You can think will or be going to as a modal verb because after all modal verbs also we can use the verb in the base form. So we will talk about the models, but I know some of them are known by you. For example, I'm sure that you all know how to use modal verb can. For example, I can speak English. Every one of you can make that sentence. So, can is a modal verb. We will discuss about the modal verbs in our following lessons also. So, in terms of feature forms, the first one is be going to and will. It's very important because you can get confused about the use of them. In terms of meaning, there is no difference. You can use either will or be going to express that you are gonna do something in the future. You are going to do something in the future, you will do something in the future. So, to express future phrases, every time you can use both be going to and will. Just, it's up to the meaning. You want to give the meaning of future. That's why you are using both will and be going to. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if your only aim is to be understandable by your contact. Sorry. Yani siz şimdi burada I'm going to fly to Madrid, or you say I'll fly to Madrid, and apostrophe, and then you're writing double L. It is the abbreviation of will. Every time you can use this abbreviation while writing or speaking. While speaking, how can I do abbreviation? So I can pronounce it as I'll. Don't need to say I will. You can say I'll. Also, everyone can understand you're using will feature in your sentence. But, as we said before, there are some differences between them. And the differences are generally about the probability and possibility. Let's check these terms. What's the meaning of probability or possibility? When you use be going to, it means that 70%, or we can say 75%, your action is going to take place in the future 70% or 75%. But when you use will, it has a low possibility. So it has higher possibility than will feature. So if you arrange something, if you make some preparations on something, if you have some plans, and if you made some organization about something, if you make some organization about something, in those cases, you are using be going to, because the possibility is higher than will feature. The possibility of the action is higher than will feature. So, you're saying that I booked a ticket. I booked a ticket. I am going to fly to Madrid. What's the point here? You booked a ticket. What's the meaning of book? Just as you think book as make a reservation. Yani siz biletinizi ayırttınız. Book aynı zamanda kitabın dışında bir de ne var? Bilet ayırtmak, yer ayırtmak. Siz böyle bir durumda yani biletinizi ayırttığınız için ne yapmanız gerekiyor? Bu eylemin olma ihtimali daha yüksektir. Geçen derste de bundan bahsettik. Siz ne yapıyorsunuz böyle bir durumda? Artık be going to feature'ı kullanıyorsunuz. Niye? Burada ihtimal daha yüksek. I am sure I'll fly to Madrid. Well. Yeah, I can hear you now. We said, I am sure. It's my idea. And my idea lowers the possibility of the action. My idea lessens the possibility of the action. That's why in such situations with such phrases, every time I use will feature because it has low possibility. We can say like 50% or 40%. It's just like about the possibility. Don't forget that one. You have nothing to do with the meaning because both have same meaning. But the difference between them is about the possibility of the action. So I hope you all understand the difference between them. But now, not only am I preparing you here for making any sentences, but I also want you to prepare for your speaking feature. That's why you all have to make practice. So we have to revise the previous tenses that we have learned together in our previous lessons. Previously, we talked about the simple present and present continuous tense, and especially the present continuous is very important because it has a feature meaning. Also, simple present has a feature meaning. We will talk about them now, but at first, the most important part for A2 level is to learn the feature meaning of present continuous tense. It's very important for now. But at first, let's check the use of present continuous in the simple present tense. Simple present is used generally for routine actions, for the habits, for general facts. We use them for those situations, so to express such situations. And also, we have present continuous. Both of them are in present timeline, are at present timeline. So, they are related to present. It means they are related to current time. It means they are related to now. But the meaning of continue every time is the process. So you remember that one? That's why you have to accept that there are a lot of continuous forms in English language, and you know now they are all about the process. Hatırladınız burayı değil mi? Yani continuous dediğimizde şimdi Türkçe'ye geçince direkt continuous oluyor. Yani onun telaffuzu continuous. Daha çok duyacağınız şey. Ama Türkçe anlatınca hep içimizden present continuous demek geliyor. Continue, continuous, continually. Hani biraz hocam bu kadar gerek var mı? Yani genellikle böyle duyacağınız için. Diğer bizim sıkıntı, bunun bir de diğer bir ismi var. Hani continuous'la direkt alakalı progressive. Hani progress ne demek? Süreç içerisinde. O yüzden sizin bu anlamı aklınızda tutarsanız, hani o process, progress, bundan sonraki continuous formları anlamanızda size çok yardımcı olacaktır. So, let's check the conjugation of present continuous. Just we are using am is are as our auxiliary verb. And then the verb takes ing, or we add ing to the end of the verb. And the general and the general mistake that you do every time you're saying or you're writing, I am go. Don't forget that. Every time after M is R, if you are using a continuous form, after M is R, you have to add ing to the end of the verb. Don't forget that one. If you are using M is R, and if you put another verb after M is R, you have to add ing to the end of the verb. It is the general form of all continuous tenses. We can literally say that after be, if you are using any continuous form, the verb must be taken ing. So, when we talk about simple present, every time you forget that, we have to add s or we have to use our verb in base form. What's the base form? You're just writing or saying the verb without adding anything. In Turkish you can say yalın hali. Hiçbir şey eklemiyorsunuz arkadaşlar yani. Veya s takısı ekliyorsunuz. But when? If our subjects are the third singulars, you can say he, she, or it. Every time you add s to the end of your verb, if you want to give the meaning of simple present tense, it's very important while speaking or writing to be understandable exactly by your contact. So, we need auxiliary verbs. Do and does. When do we need the auxiliary verbs? While making a question sentence or a negative sentence. So, while making a negative sentence, every time I add not after the auxiliary verb, I write not after the auxiliary verb. For example, you are saying, I do not play. You are using simple present here, and you have to use your auxiliary verb to make the sentence negative. That's why you need not, and you have to add not after the auxiliary verb. And sorry, today I coughed more. I do not play. And here you see not, or does she like, blah, blah. You can use your object or placement or something else. It doesn't matter. You can use according to the meaning you want to mean in your sentence. I do not play, or does she like. Here, you use am is are as your auxiliary verb. And don't forget that one. While making any negative sentences or any question sentence, every time you need your auxiliary verb. Because we are adding our auxiliary verb to the end of, we are negativeness addition not to the end of our auxiliary verb, and the auxiliary verbs don't have any meaning, and they are changing in every structure. You every time have to remember that one. And we have two different auxiliary verbs, do and does. Think the same thing. You decide according to your subject. If your subjects are he, she, or it, every time you're using does, because you can see the S addition there when your subjects are he, she, or it. So don't forget that one. Let's make some exercise. Let's do some exercise about them. Let's make some sentences about them also. For example, you want to say, ben okula giderim. It's very easy to use in your daily language. Ben okula gidiyorum. You can say also. You want to say those things, and ben okula gideceğim. Artık öğrendiniz ya zaten. Aynen, şimdi takır takır hemen bunları söylersiniz. So, What type of sentence is that? The first one. Just you have to define the sentence type at first. So you're saying, yeah, I can hear you. I can feel you because you're in front of your screens, but I can feel you. Yes, you all know it's a positive sentence because you cannot see here the negative intonation. You cannot say in Turkish mema and in English not. And it's not a question. That's why directly you're saying that it's a positive sentence. So while making a positive sentence, you're using your subject in the beginning of the sentence. So what's your subject? Ben. What's the meaning of ben in English language? Just you decide that. I and every one of you knows about that one. And then you need your verb, but you have to conjugate your verb according to structure. So which structure I'm using in the sentence, you're saying it's er and it means geniş zaman. So while using simple present, if your subject is I, you don't need to add something to your verb. That's why directly you write your verb here and I go. Then you need your object to school. And your object gives the meaning of place here. It gives the meaning of location. And now, what is the difference? Yeah, it's the conjugation, even in Turkish. It is present continuous. That's why you have to conjugate your verb differently. So, it's the same thing, a positive sentence. Then you have to conjugate your verb according to the rules of present continuous. We talked about it. That's why after subject, I have to use am, is, or are because be is our auxiliary verb in structure present continuous. So you are saying directly am. And to give the meaning of continuous, I have to add ing to the end of my verb. So you're saying that I am going. And now you managed to make a sentence by using the structure of present continuous. I'm going to school. You see, it's the same thing. I've said to you before, many times I've said to you, if you write subject, then you write your verb. Everybody can understand you. So don't be afraid of making mistakes. You don't need the fear of English. It's very easy, and I'm saying again, it's the easiest language in the world. Let's change the structure, its feature. Yeah, you all understand because the basic tenses are the same. So it's again a positive sentence, then you are using your subject in the beginning of the sentence. And what's your subject? And I. Oh, hocam, we are fed up with just making simple sentences, but you have to do, because it doesn't matter you are making some simple sentences or hard sentences. All the sentences have the same structure. It doesn't change. I, what's the meaning of feature? Yeah, will. And also, yeah, again, I am going to. What's the difference? Hocam, the difference is about the possibility. Yeah, it's okay, it doesn't matter. But to give the meaning of ecek, acak, so the feature, you can use both of them. Everybody can understand your expression will happen in the feature. If you use will or am going to or is going to, it doesn't matter. Just we are saying be going to. And after them, I have to use my verb in base form. What is your verb here? So gitmek, then you're writing go. We don't need a plus here, okay? Because we are making sentence in the natural process. Don't forget that one. It's not only a lesson here, it's the language. So don't forget that. I will go or I'm going to go to school. So just the differences between the conjugation, just the differences about the conjugation. Don't forget that one. Give the meaning of simple present, you conjugate your verb according to the simple present rules. To give the meaning of continuous, especially the present continuous, use conjugate your verb according to the rules of present continuous. To give the meaning of feature, you use the conjugation of feature forms. They are, also will, and be going to, and after that, you write your verb in the base form. So, yeah, I'm sure you all understood, but arkadaşlar dediğimiz gibi, hani bakın, İngilizce bu kadar bak. Özneden sonra fiili getiriyorsun. Bak hiç değişen bir şey var mı? Yok yani bu kadar. Hani dünyanın en kolay dili. Avrupa'yı diller içerisindeki en kolay dil, Latin harfleriyle yazılan en kolay dil. Hani siz Türkçeyi öğrendiğinize göre İngilizceyi rahat rahat öğrenirsiniz yani. Çok rahatsınız bu konuda. Çünkü yani hiç değişen bir şey yok ya. Özneden sonra fiili getir, özneden sonra fiili getir. Hocam hep olumlu cümle yaptınız diyorsunuz. Belki şu an ben hissedebiliyorum yani. Hani illa tamamen tezimizi ispatlayalım diye bir şey yok. Bazen başka şeyler gelebilir. Mesela I usually go to school. We used here usually because the true placement of frequency adverbs is before the verb in our sentences. Yani şimdi ben burada usually'yi kullandım. Tamam hani hocam özneden sonra fiil gelmedi. Ama bazı şeyler var yani. Bazı kurallar var. Yani siz bu kuralları esnetmek durumundasınız. Çünkü bu bir dil. Dil olduğu için de sizin özellikle ne yapmanız lazım? Hani bu kurallar geldiğinde uygulamanız gerekiyor. Sadece bu yani. Ama değişen ne var? Hani işte özneden sonra fiil. Siz orada usually'yi kullanın veya kullanmayın. Çok önemli değil. Ama genellikle demek istiyorsanız, usual demek istiyorsanız sizin onu fiilden önce kullanmanız gerekiyor. Okay, let's make some negative sentences. It's very important to revise them also. And we are saying and we talked about it before also in our previous lessons. It is the worst way to learn the language because it is the translation method. The translation method gives us only the understanding of the language. It's not about the practice. You have to make practice every time if you want to speak in that language, in the language you want to learn. So, we want to say here when ben süt içmiyorum. It's a positive sentence. Directly you have to define the type of the sentence before making it. So, what's your subject here? I. Well, you need now your auxiliary verb because it's a negative sentence. In every negative sentence, you have to find your auxiliary verb because you have to write not after your auxiliary verb while making a negative sentence. It doesn't change in any structures of English. So, what's that structure? İçmiyorum. It means şimdiki zaman. So you think that, you think at once it's a present continuous tense. So in continuous tenses, what's the auxiliary verb be? It's present continuous. That's why you are writing I am. Not. You have to write not after your auxiliary verb. So you're saying I am not. What's your verb here? You can look up your dictionary if you don't know the meaning of some verbs, some words, some vocabulary. It doesn't matter. You can find in any dictionaries. And you have also some applications. You can use them to find the meaning of the vocabularies. I am not drink. It's wrong now because don't forget that one. In continuous tenses, in continuous forms, every time you have to add ing to the end of your verb, or you can thought that after verb to be. Every time I have to add ing if my form is any continuous forms. So, what is the meaning of süt? And you found from your dictionary also it's milk. So, ben süt içmem. Again, it's a negative sentence. What's your subject? I. what is the structure? It's simple present. What are your auxiliary verbs in simple present tense? It's do or does. I need the S addition when my subjects are he, she, or it. So, you're writing do. I do not need S addition here because my subjects aren't he, she, or it. So you're saying I do not, or you can abbreviate it as don't. It doesn't matter. Both forms are true, are correct to use. What's your verb? Every time you need verb, don't forget that one. Every time you need it, because without verbs, nobody can understand you. You have to use your verb. It's very important because your contact needs to understand you. So, verb is the most important component in your sentence because auxiliary verbs don't have any meanings. Don't forget that one. So what's your main verb? You can call them as main verb. What's that? Drink again. And we do not drink milk. Ben süt içmeyeceğim. Again, it's a negative sentence, and also now we have to define that. What is my structure? How do I conjugate? How can I conjugate my verb? It's feature. So you are saying I will or I am not. What's the structure? Just will feature. So write I will not drink. So what's the structure? It's be going to. You wrote be and not, then you're writing going to drink. And they both give the meaning of feature. Okay? Now we revised all the things, but also we need here to make some question sentences. Let's revise them also. So, do you remember how to make a question sentence? I know you remember how to make them. Yeah. If you need, you are using your WH question word in the beginning of the sentence. But to give the meaning of question, every time I'm using my auxiliary verb before the subject, and don't forget that one. So, I'm writing here, yeah, let's make questions. All of them are positive question sentences. So, while making question at first, you have to define that which tense or which structure you have to use to give that meaning. It's oynarmısın. So, yeah. So your structure is simple present. Then, you use your auxiliary verb do or does in the beginning of the sentence. Or you can say before the subject, because to give the meaning of question, every time you are using or you have to use your auxiliary verb before the subject. If you need any WH question words, you can also use the WH question word in the beginning of the sentence. But now you need your verb. Your verb must be conjugated in base form in a question sentence if you use simple present tense. Do you play football? And you made your question now. Futbol oynayacak mısın? What's your structure here? It's feature. That's why you can use will here. Will you, yeah, and play football? It's here, your auxiliary verb. You used your auxiliary verb before the subject to give the meaning of question. Hocam, why don't we use be going to? Okay, let's use it. What's your auxiliary verb in form of be going to? Are. Just you're writing, are you going to? And after be going to, you're using your verb or going to play football. It doesn't change. English is very easy to use. English is very easy to speak. Futbol oynuyor musun? What is your structure here? Yeah, it's true. Also, we are using present continuous here. That's why our auxiliary verbs are am, is, are. I'm directing the question to you. That's why my subject is you. So I'm saying, are you? What's your verb? Play. But in continuous form, after am, is, are. Don't forget that one. I have to add ing. Are you playing football? Yeah, it's that easy. So it's very easy to make any sentences in English language. Don't be afraid of using the language. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. You will learn from your mistakes. Don't forget that one every time you make practice. So it's very important to remember the rules. Let's sum up the rules. What are the rules? To express simple present. I need the conjugation. My conjugations are to add s to the end of the verb or to use my verb in base form. So the other thing I need is the auxiliary verb. My auxiliary verb is do, not, but. If my subjects are he, she, or it, I need to add s. That's why I use it as does when my subjects are he, she, or it. And what are the conjugation rules of present continuous? So present continuous, in any continuous forms, I have to use be as my auxiliary verb. It's present, that's why I conjugate be as am, is, are as my auxiliary verb. So in continuous forms, after am, is, are, I add ing to the end of my verb. And the third one we discussed about previously is future tense. And first, will. Will is the auxiliary verb. And after will, I'm using the base form of the verb. And the other one, be. Be is my auxiliary verb in the structure. And be going to, and after be going to, again, I use the base form of the verb. Just, I need that conjugations to be understandable clearly. It's easy. It doesn't matter. You're using the structure simple present, the structure present continuous or future. It's just like up to you. Just use the true structure. You will learn the rules. You will learn how to conjugate your verbs. Just be careful about the order of the sentence. Just write subject in the beginning of the sentence, then you use your conjugated verb after, to make any positive sentence. To make any negative sentence, just write your subject in the beginning of the sentence. Then you use your auxiliary verb, then write your negativeness addition, it's not, and then write your conjugated verb or say your conjugated verb. To make any question sentence, then you write your auxiliary verb or to say your auxiliary verb in the beginning of the sentence. If you need any question words, you use your question word before the auxiliary verb. And also you write your subject after the auxiliary verb and then use your verb. It's always the same. It doesn't change. So don't be afraid of using English. So let's revise what we have done today. Okay, it's our first page. We talked about be going to feature and will feature. And also in our previous lessons, we mentioned them. And again, we have to revise all three structures we had done in our previous lessons. And the first one we revised today is be going to feature and will. And we talked about the use of them. And then talked about the differences. Having talked about the differences, we thought that the difference is only about the possibility. It has higher possibility and it has lower possibility. And then we talked about the use of simple present and present continuous. In our following lessons also there are three forms of feature meanings. We will talk about the differences between them. Also simple present and present continuous have a feature meaning. Especially the present continuous is very important for A2 level in feature meaning. And then we made some sentences, some positive sentences in that board, and we revised also the conjugation of different structures that we have learned before. And also we talked about the extra rules, the exceptions, just as we used the frequency adverb in a sentence, and we made some negative sentences. And also we made some question sentences. Then at last, we revised all the conjugations of the three tenses we have learned before. So, I hope you all learned how to make a sentence. And I want to make another exercise to consolidate your knowledge. Yani şimdi bir pekiştirelim isterseniz. Fazla mı yazdık? Okula giderken Ali'yi görürüm. Futbol oynuyorum. Ama futbolu sevmiyorum. Eğer okula gelmezsen seni cezalandıracağım. Şimdi şöyle bir iki dakika bir bakalım. Hocam biz bir cümle kurmayı öğrendik. Şimdi ne olacak, ne yapacağız diye bir şey mi sanki düşündünüz? Ama şöyle dikkat edin. Bakın bağlayan bir yapı var. Futbolu sevmiyorum, futbol oynuyorum. İki tane ayrı ayrı cümle. Özne, fiil, nesne yani. Okula giderken bir, okula gitmek, okula gidiyorum ben. İki, Ali'yi görmek. Şu yapı hangi anlamı verecek? Okula gelmek bir. İkinci cümleniz seni cezalandırmak, yani özne fiil. Yine özne fiil. Ondan sonra bu anlamla bu ikisini bağlamam lazım. Yani İngilizce hep böyle. Bir tane cümle kur, sonra bağlayan bir yapı koy. Artık nereye koyulması gerekiyorsa. Hani bir de bizde şey vardır ya, yok o bağlaç o zamanla kullanılmaz. Yok işte bağlaç başta kullanılır, bağlaç ortada kullanılır. Hatta şey yapmasalar, çekinmeseler bağlaç sonunda kullanılır bile diyebilirler yani. Yani öyle bir şey yok, biraz onlara bakacağız. Şöyle bir göz gezdirin. Bunlar sizin zaten ödeviniz olacak. Bir sonraki derse başlarken direkt bunlarla başlayacağız biz. Şöyle bir göz gezdirin. Evet, yani hani bilmediğiniz kelime de yok. Gayet kolay. Yani zor kelime olarak neyi hocam cezalandırmak ne? Punish. Yani görmek, see, sevmek, like, oynamak, play. Hep kullanıyoruz zaten. Gelmek, come. Yani iken ne demek hocam? Hadi onları da söyleyeyim. Şimdi when iken anlamını veriyor. Ama, but. Mesela but yerine ne kullandınız? Yet. Bu da ama demek. Hani mesela bunu kullanınca daha iyi İngilizce bilmiş oluyorsunuz. Onları konuşacağız. Eğer anlamını ne veriyor hocam? If. Bu kadar. Yani bütün bilmeniz gereken bu. Cümle kurmayı da biliyorsunuz. O zaman bir uğraşın bakalım. Bunlar sizin ödeviniz olsun. İkinci derse bu şekilde başlayalım. Bunlara bakarak başlayalım. Evet arkadaşlar, umuyorum bugün de biraz daha pekiştirdik, biraz daha öğrendik. Artık cümle kurmaktan falan korkmuyoruz. Size ödevinizle birlikte güzel bir çalışma diliyorum. Hepiniz kendinize iyi bakın. So get ready for the next lesson and do your homework. See you soon.